You ready to see how we sound here, Ryan?
Yeah, you guys sound good. You're already
So-
live. You're already live with the mic, so you guys ready to go?
Ready to go.
You ready to go?
I am ready
All right,
to go.
let's do it. Well, good morning, everyone. Well, good afternoon. I am Josh Smith here at the live ILTACON Live, the inaugural ILTACON Live here at the 45th anniversary of ILTA. From the Gaylord National Harbor, I am Josh Smith, and I'm here today with our special guest, Melanie Prevost. Melanie, introduce yourself and tell us where you work and a little bit about yourself.
Sure. I'm Melanie Prevost, Senior Director of Infrastructure and Technology Support Services at Vincent & Elkins. I work out of Houston, Texas, and I have been volunteering with ILTA for over 18 years.
That is an amazing span of time. 18 years, that's longer than I've almost had a professional career. But that's awesome that you've been involved so much. What's the value of being a longtime member like that? What do you get out of those 18 years of service to the community?
I tell you, I was really thinking about that this morning. In 24 hours, I have had the ability to meet my lifelong friends, reconnect, re-engage, meet new people. Also sit at the table with entrepreneurs who have startups, new companies that are growing immensely. Just that experience alone, it's what energizes me and it's what keeps me going. And I've gotten that experience for all 18 years. Every year it gets better and better. And so, I have to be here.
Right, I do too. I mean, the value that you get from serving others and providing feedback, but then being in almost 4,500 people, a massive crowd. I was sitting in the breakfast area this morning and I was looking around, and no matter what time period it was, I saw at least 5 or 6 people I knew. So there's the networking opportunities are infinite. So over those 18 years, how have things kind of grown and changed at ILTA for you, and even at ILTACON?
You know, I think the technology has changed. When I'm one of these people, I call myself, I'm in infrastructure, so back office. And I've seen that evolve. When I first started, there were lots of topics, lots of things that evolved around servers and telecom and things of the like.
Right. Back in the LawNet days, I bet, right? Okay.
And things have definitely changed. It's more about software, of course, generative and agentic AI, data and information governance, and so the topics have changed, and I think that's really what resonates with me. The people are the same. That energy remains the same. I was just telling Sarah Grace, it's we're huggers,
Right.
and just that sense of community. That continues to resonate with everyone, and it's something I think everyone looks forward to.
I agree. I think it's almost like a family reunion every year,
It
right? You come in,
is.
you meet up with the people that you know, but then your family grows every time you're here and you meet new people. It's just an amazing experience. You mentioned generative AI. So where are you on the uptake of Gen AI? I've got to ask the question since we're here and kind of in the middle of some of the AI business partners. What is your thoughts on generative AI, and how are you using it if you are at all, and what are your general thoughts around the technology?
It's evolving and it's changed, and when you're at that intersection of when things change, you definitely don't want to be outside of that change arc. So we're doing what everyone else is doing. We're using several tools. We've done pilots. We're working with our attorneys in our practice groups very specifically so that we can really engage with them and what they need, really talking about how it helps with productivity. Also really engaging and talking about the security concerns,
Right.
The validity that, there are hallucinations.
Make sure there's no
Make
hallucinations,
sure that they
right.
understand, what we're working with. I use it every day.
Awesome.
Every day.
Awesome.
And it has enhanced the ability for me to be more productive.
Right, I agree. And there's kind of I think the initial fear of it taking people's jobs is a little unfounded. I think there's going to be a workforce shift to have the skills to be able to use it to be more productive. But I don't think we're going to eliminate, a bunch of legal tech jobs. I just don't think that's going to happen. So let's talk about your volunteer roles at ILTA. What all committees and roles have you served in your time here?
Well, I started out as a local, I think it was member liaison is what it's called
member
today.
liaison, yeah.
For Houston, big city of Houston. And I did that for several years. I'm wanting to say like 7 to 10 years. And then I moved on to RCT, which was the coordinator of those roles. And I ended up having all of the Southeast Territory. So
Wow.
Texas, Louisiana, all the way over to Florida.
Right.
At the same time, I was tapped to join Women Who Lead. And so I was just really, that women and technology is a passion of mine.
That's a fantastic group. Every year, I'll tell you, every year at the conference that used to be called Legal Sec has been renamed to Evolve or reimagined as Evolve, Embracing Security and AI. And I think it's the second mornings or the third morning's breakfast is always a Women Who Lead breakfast. And I love going in there. So it's for women who lead and the men who support the women who lead, right? So that's a favorite breakfast of mine.
Oh my gosh, allyship is so important, and so it's just great to have everybody at the table just to exchange those ideas. But yes, I've done Women Who Lead, and I was co-chair for a couple of years. And now I'm working on the leadership CCT, so I work providing content
Nice.
for leadership and development topics. And just recently we tapped Women in Security into its own sort of advisory group. So we're working with the committee now to figure out where we land. Women in Security was started by Women Who Lead. So Michelle
Right.
Gossmeyer
Right.
and I, when we were co-chairs, we started this initiative. And we've been working on that. So when you mentioned the breakfast, yes, I've been involved with the breakfast for the last 5
Right.
years. We've got a fantastic skills matrix that we worked on that we've been presenting.
Awesome.
So we're looking forward to launching that with the Women in Security's website very soon.
Right. I just got out of a session that Michelle kind of told some stories in a strategy and thought leadership session with Carl Larson from Novus Global. It was just a great session. Michelle is a fantastic resource. I'm glad you mentioned her.
Yes.
Let's see, what else is on the agenda for today? So if there's someone that's kind of listening today and they aren't a member of ILTA or they are a member of ILTA and haven't gotten to come to an ILTACON yet, what's your advice for them? What do you think they should how should they jump in and get involved?
I think you just should jump in. I mean, it's just an immense area of people to just really get information. One of the things that I was also thinking about this morning was the amount of feedback that I get from my peers. So I can actually benchmark what I'm doing against what they're doing, and then as we share, it's a two-way street.
Right.
So I would challenge everyone, jump in, meet new people, figure out where your passion is, because I guarantee you there is some segment of the population of the community that idea, that passion coincides with, that you can get involved.
I agree, and I think you mentioned the local experience committee, and I think that's post-COVID that's coming back in kind of a big way, or I think it's planned to be coming back. I think that's really important because some of the people that can't always come to an ILTACON, how do you reach them without bringing them to an event, right? So you go to them, you go to the community, and I think ILTA's doing a really great job of starting that. So I think the local experience is fantastic to get everybody involved, maybe have like a firm champion, right, to say, because I've had people in my firm at Ogletree like, what, or we're members of ILTA, I'm a member of ILTA. I'm like, yeah, the firm is a member, that means you're a member. You have all these resources. Some of our business people in accounting, accounts receivable, and budgeting, like, oh yeah, there's an Adderant community group. Like I can hop into that and I can get those resources. I'm like, yeah, it's all provided with the membership. So a lot of people don't really realize the benefits of even just being a member, right?
Exactly, and a lot of the local events sort of changed when we went through COVID.
Right.
But you're right, we're making a comeback. I actually had a conversation at the orientation with Kraft Kennedy, and I volunteered my office. I said, hey, listen, I'm happy to come in and host, but we're wanting to make sure that we offer hybrid events as well. We want to offer content that makes sense. So we're going to be surveying our members to determine, what do you really want to see? What are you willing to come in person to see, so that we can make sure that it works not only for the membership but for the sponsors. And then we're going to be offering some virtual sessions as well.
That sounds exciting. I would definitely love to participate in some of those virtual sessions. Also, kind of towards the southeast. I know you said you're in Houston. The Charlotte, Atlanta, Greenville, southeast area is really important to me too. So I've, through my director Gary Berger, we have an office in Charlotte. We've got a great office in Atlanta. We've got a great office, 2 offices in Greenville with our administrative team. Let's come do something there. So hopefully we'll get something in the works. Let's shift a little bit and talk about what we're doing day-to-day work. So you're in security. I'm, manager of GRC. I came from operational security at Clemson, 4 or 5 years ago. Now that I've been at Ogletree, what are your biggest threats and risks that you're seeing in security today? I know we have a latest threats panel with Gary Berger moderating, David Carnes, Terrence Jackson, I think from Microsoft will be there, and Sulab Ablandja from Kraft Kennedy's also participating on that panel. So what are you kind of seeing as latest threats in security in your area?
Well, I'll tell you, my group intersects with our information security team, so that's where my security experience comes from. But I'm really traditionally in infrastructure. So my big projects nowadays really are, we're making a shift, moving more assets into the cloud. So we're
to the cloud.
Yeah.
Yep.
So we're shrinking our on-prem footprint and moving as much as we can.
And you're not the only firm doing that, I can tell you. And I feel like I've always thought about our transition from thoughts about generative AI to practical uses of generative AI, the same that we've had the cloud strategy, right? Like we're thinking about moving to the cloud, but we're kind of afraid to, but it's, there's a slower adoption. But I think the Gen AI curve is a little bit faster because we've been kind of forced into it by either our attorneys at the firm or, those around us that are already using it. We have the fear of missing out, right? That FOMO. But I think it's a really great strategy always to plan it out and do it accurately. But yeah, moving to the cloud and getting rid of those on-prem resources that can sometimes be better protected by a cloud provider, right? You hope that it is, and that's what we kind of work towards.
Yes.
That's great. Do you have any other final thoughts as your time here? We're the second day of the exhibit hall being open. It's fantastic energy in here. I think they've moved lunch next door, so everyone's down here. Any final thoughts for us today before we wrap up?
You're right. The exhibit hall, the vendors that are here, there's so many options, and so that's another mention that I would make. If you're considering in the future coming to ILTACON, it's a great place to come and meet vendors of technology, services, and they're all in one spot. It's very convenient.
It is.
As you said, lunch is right next door. So educational sessions, vendors, you can't go wrong.
You can't. I've even scheduled some meetings. So I run our governance, risk, and compliance team at Ogletree. So I have to do some vendor vetting, third-party risk management, but some of the people that we're talking to are here. So let me set up an in-person meeting so I don't have to do this virtually. And you kind of really get to meet, face-to-face those people that you work with, you see on Teams or Zoom all the time.
Yeah.
It's a really great opportunity to do that.
It is. There's nothing like seeing people face-to-face.
Exactly. Well, thank you so much for joining us today. I'll wrap us up before our next interview, but it's been a pleasure to talk to you and to meet you and get to know you. And thank you for being here at ILTACON.
Thank you for having me.
Thanks.